Living in a van, I expected a lot of things. Tight spaces, odd looks, even the occasional breakdown on the side of the highway. But what really caught me off guard was all the little surprises that no one mentions until you're like really knee deep in them. Like how a fridge door can double as a weapon, or how a double mattress in a van can make you question physics. You picture freedom, sunsets, the big open road, and look, you do get those moments, but the reality is also bumping your hip or your head every time you reach for a saucepan, or discovering just how much noise nylon webbing can make at 2 a.m. when you roll over to try to get comfortable to sleep. And honestly, some of these things made and still make me laugh. Some made me swear, and a few of them actually made my life a lot better than I probably would have imagined. Today, I wanted to show you what really surprised me the most about living in this relatively small Toyota HiAce. Not a glossy Instagram version of a kitted out van, but the real everyday stuff that really sneaks up on you. When I first started van life, I thought I had a pretty good handle on what it was going to be like. I'd watched all the YouTube tours, read a bunch of forums, asked people in Facebook groups, and honestly, nothing really prepares you for living full-time in a space smaller than some people's walk-in wardrobes. You start learning the weird physics of a van. Like, I can park in a normal car spot, but inside, just sitting down to put on socks is like playing Twister, to be really honest with you. One leg over the fridge, head tucked to avoid the roof. And look, honestly, and then you add Nana to the mix and it's a circus. Every morning is a circus. And I expected to feel cramped, but not quite in the way that I do. It's not just space, it's movement. Every single action in the van can become its own choreographed music video. I've got to open the fridge, bend this way, duck your head, shift the weight, slide the drawer, send Nana to the back of the van. And when you forget a step, that's when things can get pretty chaotic pretty fast. I thought surprises would be, you know, like road trips or spontaneous breakdowns. But honestly, the biggest surprises have been inside, just here. The daily little battles with physics and space. Like, how do I have 100 square meters of Australia outside, but I can't find a place to put my toothbrush without getting toothpaste all over everything else? Also, the toilet. I won't lie, I thought I'd hate it, but I oddly don't. It doubles as a seat. It doesn't leak. Well, not when I don't drop it. And yes, it's in full view. I expected it to be, I guess, a little shameful, but surprise, it's just normal now because I've gotten used to it, I guess. Which, look, it's probably not what I saw myself living like pre-van. And that's the other stuff that I didn't expect. The stuff that I thought would be stressful, like wiring all the own electrics and all the cables. But it actually turned out to be one of the best parts, which brings me to the next surprise. So here's the thing. As I said, I thought the electronics were going to be the nightmare. Like, I was ready for sparks, mistakes, and probably I should have had a fire extinguisher on hand. But building the system, that actually surprised me in probably one of the best ways. So we have 3 King's branded 200 lithium batteries. Some Victron gear, like the battery shunt and the MPPT. Links to all of this stuff is in the description if you wanted to check out what we've got. And honestly, a heap of grade 6 cable. And I ended up with something that honestly works without me having to stress about it. It charges, it powers everything, and it can actually run my EcoFlow air conditioner and my Starlink without crying over dead batteries every second day and pulling out a generator to save myself. The surprise, I guess, wasn't that it worked, it's that how much I actually enjoyed doing the electrics and learning everything about it. I wired the whole van myself, and for someone who is not particularly patient, I didn't think I would get a kick out of crimping wires till my hand and my chest muscles hurt. I've got a hydraulic press now. But it became this like little, oh, wind. It became this like little anchor that if I could figure this out, then maybe the rest of it just wasn't as intimidating as it first felt. And that, to be honest, is probably a pattern with a lot of van life. The things that you think are going to be hard sometimes turn out fine, and the stuff that you never even thought existed, that's where the real annoying surprises, surprise, sneaks up on you. Which I feel like that leads us into like the daily stuff. Cooking, sleeping, moving around. That part's supposed to be like the easy, living your life. But yeah, it's not quite what I personally expected. Okay, so daily life. I feel like this is where van life kind of surprised me the most. Cooking in here is like a live action puzzle game. You think making rice would be the easiest part in the world? No, not really. It's kind of a full production, and we've got a one cooker burner, and sometimes a rice cooker. Half the time I'm balancing pots like they're in a circus. And we only have 3 pots, so you can imagine what it's like. And then there's the bed noise. When we made the bed, I put nylon strapping down to like cover the gaps in between the wood struts that I made. And I didn't think twice about it when I built it, because that's how normal beds are, right? But at night, every creak feels like the van is haunted. That was a surprise I did not love. And if I could redo, I'd probably just put a solid pit of wood over the top of it. And I do need to do that, but again, there's so much stuff. It's funny that the things that stressed me at the start, like power, water, ended up being fine. And the real surprises are like the small little annoyances, and the little wins and the weird rhythm of daily life that you kind of don't notice until you're living it. And of course, just when you think you've figured out the routine, there's something that always throws you a curveball. The surprise that actually changed the way I look at van life entirely. So, here's the twist. The thing that really surprised me wasn't gear or space or Nana claiming squatters' rights. Nana, it's so hot. Do you have to sit so close? Nana, Nana, I know you can hear me. Nana. Chaos became normal. Like the fridge that tries to knock me out whenever I opened it, that's just a normal Tuesday. The Starlink cable that tangles itself into a trap every time I set it up because I don't put it away properly, barely registers anymore. Even my toilet being front and center in the middle of my van, I would have thought it would be a constant embarrassment showing people my van, but you know, it's just turned into a chair. The surprise isn't that, I guess, van life is messy, it's how fast your brain kind of adapts to that mess. Things that would have driven me insane in a house, like bumping things or not being able to stand up straight, honestly don't really faze me now, and I kind of just work around it because that's the rhythm of van life. You don't fight it, you just go with the flow. And that's the part that no one told me, at least. You stop looking for perfect and you start finding peace in just stuff that works. The van isn't flawless, but the surprises, the quirks, the chaos, they end up making it feel better, more like a home than I ever expected this to feel like. And that mental shift, the acceptance that that's how it is now, has been the biggest surprise of all, because it actually makes, for me, life sustainable. Not just my lifestyle, but my life in general. So after all those little surprises, the bumps, the creaks, the fridge battles, here's what it comes down to. The van feels more like a home than I ever thought it could. Not because it's perfect, because honestly, it's really not. It's noisy, cramped, and it forces me to think about every single thing that I own, because I don't have the space for it, to be honest with you. But that's actually what I'm beginning to like about it. The surprise wasn't just the chaos, it was how much peace came out of that chaos. Like, instead of stressing over bills, I'm stressing over whether the rice cooker and my aircon can like run at the same time. And to be honest, I feel like that's a trade that I would make any day, and I would make again today in a heartbeat. I've lived in apartments that have never felt like mine, even after 10 years in staying in them. But this van felt mine within months. And I feel like that was because every surprise, every mistake was mine to fix. It was every little win. And it all adds up to a space that's mine because I built it. I built this. I live in it, and it carries my skin particles everywhere. My script said fingerprints, but I feel like saying skin particles is a bit more gross, you know what I mean? Anyway, I need to go back to my script. Literally, if you look at the kitchen, that doesn't, now I ruined my own script. And that's the surprise I didn't see coming. The freedom just isn't outside of the van, it's inside too. It's how you adapt, it's how you let go of needing everything to be polished. It's messy, but it's your space, completely yours. People imagine van life as these glorious sunsets, road trips, and sure, look, they are there, they have their moments, but the real magic is that shift in your head. You stop fighting little things and you start making room for the good bits. You know what? Maybe that's the thing that surprised me the most, that the van doesn't need to be explained. It just works for me, and in ways that a traditional house, and I even thought the van when I first did it, in ways I thought it never could. So when I think about living in this tiny Toyota HiAce, what really surprised me the most wasn't just fridge battles or the awkward dance around Nana, or even learning how to wire all of my own electronics without burning my house down. The real surprise is that I don't feel like I'm missing out. People always assume downsizing means just giving up things, and I did give up things. But what I've actually found is that I've made room for more things, more peace, more focus, more time for me. And that means more time for the little things that actually make a difference in my life. Living in the van forces me to slow down, to laugh at the chaos that I find myself in sometimes, but to celebrate a hot meal, even if it takes 3 hours and I have to play Tetris with my pots, and in some weird way, it feels richer than I ever did in a house. And it's not always easy, and I think that's a point. It's not always easy. Some days I do miss space. I miss having a bed and a desk, you know what I mean? But the surprise is those moments do not outweigh the good, and it's not even close. It's not even close. Because at the end of the day, this little Toyota HiAce gives me exactly what I wanted, a life that doesn't need explaining, and that was probably the biggest surprise of all. If you're thinking about van life, know this: the surprise will come. Some will drive you mad, and some might make you laugh, but the ones that change your life can be the best things for you. And if you want to see what more of this lifestyle is really like, the good, the chaotic, and the unexpected, stick around, subscribe, because there's always another surprise just waiting to happen.